Okay, how can I balance the desire to renounce the world, seek God, with my worldly responsibilities? Well, this is a difficult balancing act for everyone. You know, there are definitely worldly responsibilities that we have. And so basically you just have to do the best you can. One thing is to try to be sure to establish regular habit of deep meditation, so that every day you meditate at least morning and evening. And as I've said before, depth is more important than length, although long deep meditations are of course the best. But if you have a shorter period of time, then make a real effort to make that short period of time real quality time with God. So morning and evening meditation. Why? Because otherwise, if we're always playing the video game and we never even stop, how are we going to pull back from it? So we've got to, and stopping is not just stopping and flopping down and watching television or something. Stopping is actually withdrawing from connection to something outward. That could be almost the definition of meditation, the withdrawal of our energy and consciousness away from the world into the inner world. And so we have to establish that, or we're just caught all the time, and then we become subject to the whims and dictums of the world, and it will always toss us up, and it will always crash us down, and it's just going to alternate between that. So we have to establish two things, really. We have to establish a practice of meditation, and we also have to work to establish turning the mind toward God as often as possible. When we visited, one of the people we met at the Mother Teresa mission was the second nun to come to her. So Sister Gertrude is her name. No, it was Mother Teresa, and then the second. So she was the third person in this new order, Sister Gertrude. Beautiful soul, beautiful soul. But she said, kind of as a dictum for us, as an offering to us, but it was something that was part of their order. The heart is to love, the mind is to think of God, and the hands are to serve others in humility. And so work on that. Heart is to love, mind is to think of God, and the hands are to serve. And so that outward service, whether we're serving the poorest of the poor or whether we're serving in the realm where God has placed us, is much the same if we approach it as service. And so everything, there isn't really so much of a dichotomy, of a split between our spiritual life and our worldly responsibilities. It's more that we separate them in our mind, but they can be brought together, and they can be seen as one whole, where everything is God, serving God through meditation, serving God through activity, and they begin to blend. But one of the great teachings of our path is that everything is composed of God, everything can be seen as God, and we don't have to make this separation.
Also,
I'll also answer just briefly. In the autobiography, in the chapter, I Become a Monk in the Swami Order, you can look it up if you're interested, Master says, the householder path is a higher path, even than renunciation, if it's done with inner non-attachment and understanding that God is the doer. So it really comes down for each one of us to find our Dharma and to do it with inner detachment, with the thought of God, and then there's no dichotomy. But we have to have the inner discipline, as Jyotish said, daily meditation. People's how I see, everybody can find a little bit of time to meditate every day. And I'm not trying to put a guilt trip on you, but you can. I'm trying to encourage you. If you're not meditating, even 10, 15 minutes a day, do that. Practice till you get towards Kriya Yoga initiation, and then do your Dharma in this world. Those two things, discipline, sadhana, fulfilling Dharma. That's a sure path to God, whatever your outward circumstances are.